She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Bournemouth can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the toffees. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. Welcome back to Footy with the boys. A whole lot to recap, including a Manchester derby, the league leaders in some dramatic games this week. The top 6 race is wide open. We're going to talk Unai. We're going to talk Ainge. We're going to compare them and see who we would prefer to have. And of course, we're going to get into the toffee talk and the US men's national team corner. But first, Mike, Nick, Messi mania, or maybe I should say a bit more of Suarez. Give some credit to him. 2 goals, 2 assists. They absolutely demolished their rival, Orlando City. Orlando had some piss poor defending, but Lionel Messi scoring, Luis Suarez scoring and assisting quite a bit. Is this what we're going to see for the rest of the season, you think, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they played really bad against LA Galaxy the game before. Didn't look convincing at all. And I thought going into the season, Orlando City was a pretty good team from what I heard people talking about. So this is definitely surprising. If they're having interconnecting play between the front 3-4 players like they did this game, yeah, it's going to be hard to shut them down because they can just knock them in. This was a great performance, especially from Luis Suarez. And shout out to Julian Gressel, who assisted both those first goals. He had a great game too.
Yeah, Julian Gressel, the MLS vet, is the real headline of this one.
Facts.
Nick, is this kind of what we're going to see for the league? Do you think Inter Miami, I mean, if they're clicking like this, who the fuck is going to defend Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba joining the attack? And if you shut that down, it's getting recycled to Sergio Busquets. Like, you think Aaron Long's stopping that shit? I don't think so.
I mean, no more DeAndre Yedlin, right? Off to Nashville, I think it was. So, Cincy, off to Cincy.
Yeah.
So, big loss for the boys at Inter Miami, losing a club captain and leader in the locker room like that. I honestly, I didn't think Inter Miami looked that good this game. I'm just going to say it. They scored 5 goals, and they're going to score a fuck ton of goals, I think, throughout the whole season. But they look just as shit defending. They just put pacey defenders in the back now, but there is no midfield to speak of. Orlando City was just really poor in the final third, I thought. So, honestly, it's also probably a mentality thing. Like, you see Messi across from you see Luis Suarez, Busquets, and Alba, and you're like, okay, they scored a goal. They scored 2 goals. We're fucked now. And Orlando City just didn't have the cojones, as we like to say on the pod. So, yeah, big win for Miami. I do not think they're going to win anything this year. Heard it here
Not
first.
a single trophy. Wow.
Nothing.
I think that's a hot take, so we'll come back to that.
Heard it here
later,
first.
but Inter Miami are certainly going to score a lot of goals. I think DeAndre Yedlin leaving allows them to put more of their midfielders in and move Julian Gressel back to an outside back spot that he's used to. But Inter Miami are going to be fucking loaded on the attack. It's just going to be if they can not allow 6 when they score 5. This time, Orlando City was done after the first 2 goals, and it just snowballed. But there are other places that are not having as many goals, and that is Spain, specifically for Real Madrid. They thought they had a late winner versus Valencia. It gets called out, Mike, because the referee blows the final whistle as the ball's being crossed in. That, I don't know. If the ball's being crossed in, I feel as if you should not be blowing the whistle. I mean, is that not just the rules of the game? You don't call the whistle on an attack.
Yeah, that's true, but there's a little bit more context to it. First of all, it's 2+ minutes over what was allotted for stoppage time, so you got to factor that in. It was a recycled attack. It had already been sort of cleared by a Valencia defender, and Madrid got it back out on the wing. And before he blew the whistle, he had it up in his mouth, and then the ball was kind of played at the same time the whistle went, and it just happened to go in. So it looked really, really bad. But you know what? Fuck Madrid, man. They get so many calls going their way. They get so many referee decisions. I don't give a damn. I really don't care. Screw them.
Nick, I think that the bigger impact of this is that Jude Bellingham then screams at the ref, "Hey, that's a goal," with some expletives laced in between, gets a red card. He now misses their next game. I mean, 3 points versus 1 point here versus Valencia. All right, whatever. Doesn't matter that much. But missing Jude Bellingham for a game, I think that's a bigger impact, no?
All-time fucking loser move. Like everything that Mike just said is 100% right. You know your 2 minutes over. Like, congratulations, you scored after the whistle blew, and now you're mad that it didn't count. Like, shut the fuck up. You know exactly what happened. I can't believe this is even the story, honestly. Like, this is ridiculous. The ball got popped out. Sure, it was recycled, but like Mike said, minutes over the allotted time. Jude Bellingham just crying, thinks that everything should be handed to him. That's probably harsher than I knew on Jude. I like Jude.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's awfully harsh.
But
No maturity.
either way, he should know better there. He should have a little bit more maturity and he fucking cost him. I have no idea who they play next. I don't think it matters in the context of the season either, but just dumbass move.
Yeah, I think they're running away with it. I think he does have a good shout for it's a bad whistle. I think 2 minutes past, no matter what, you still wait for it to be popped out a little bit further than within the 18 to be crossed in. That seems like you should wait, but whistle is blown. Ref's not thinking anything is going to come from the cross. Anything's going to happen, and it just so happened. If he misses that header or if it goes astray, nobody talks about it twice. But that's just kind of how Real Madrid works. They are going to be looking for their calls. VAR Madrid over there. But enough of the Real Madrid. Let's get into the Premier League here, boys, because we had some big time storylines. And the biggest winners win. Mike, Manchester City. We were hyping them up that they were going to absolutely dominate versus Manchester United. Marcus Rashford in the 8th minute hits an absolute banger in this one. Banger. Marcus Rashford, I thought maybe he used that confidence and could help out Manchester United on the break because they were getting their chances on the counter. I think Marcus Rashford and Manchester United, he had a ball through past the defender after a mistake by City. If he heads it further in front of him, he has a 1-on-1 with the keeper. So you don't want to counter it as a goal, but it's pretty damn good chance that he's going to score a goal there. And then another one crossed in later on that, man, if he would have made any type of contact and doesn't whiff it, City are in some real trouble. But it's Manchester United, and it's Marcus Rashford this year, so the form's not there. And the rest of the performance for Manchester United was not there at all. It was a FIFA game that you knew City was absolutely better side. They just were not getting it in the net, and Man U scored a random banger. Mike, Foden today. Is he the star breaking through for Manchester City that will continue them at this dominance in the Premier League?
Yeah, he's looking to be it. He's had an incredible season, obviously. Stepped up big time with the absence of De Bruyne. And you kind of thought, well, what's going to happen when De Bruyne comes back? Is he going to be more the focal point? Is he going to shift Foden more out wide and be just a little extra? But no, he's really kept his focal point. He's been really important for them. He's scoring goals at a higher rate than he has any other season. And today, he was easily the player of the match for me and the difference maker. Marcus Rashford's goal was a piece of brilliance, an absolute banger, came out of nowhere. But Foden's to equalize in the 56 was even better for me because he created it by himself. He dribbled 2 players and he curled it up into the top corner. That was an excellent, excellent goal. They needed it, and it completely just changed the match from there. City had chances earlier in the match. They could have scored a few. Haaland was extraordinarily wasteful today. He's looked a little wasteful the last couple of matches, which is not characteristic to him, but Maybe he's just in a little bit of a slump. So they relied on Foden.
Slump, he did score today, too.
He did score today. That one was gifted to him. Let's be fair. That goal was very, very poor. That was all Man U not being able to play out of the back. But what else can I say about City? Even they were down most of the game, I never had a feeling that they were going to lose it. I thought the best that Man U could hope for coming into this match was a 1-1 draw. It looked possible for a while. It looked like City just might not be able to put one in, and then as soon as one goes in, you're like, this game is definitely going to be 3 points in the favor of City. Nick, I'll let you talk about what you thought in this match, if you had any other ideas.
No, we'll get into Man U later, but they're fucking atrocious. It was like I think Man City on the stats had like triple the amount of passes as Man U. Like they couldn't put anything together. They were awful. Rashford pulls out a peach, but we'll get into it later. Man U fucking sucks. Oh my god.
Nick is absolutely crockpot steaming up a take on Manchester United to let you guys know how they performed. But first, we check in on the other title contender that played this weekend, Liverpool. Oh, man. Liverpool left it late versus Nottingham Forest. And it took a Darwin Núñez 90th plus 9th goal to give them the 3 points here. For Nottingham Forest, that is devastating to not get a point out of this one. For Liverpool, you're skating by. You need to stay perfect with how tight this title race is. And Nick, you do that. You have all these injuries. You continue to get 3 points no matter how it's done. Is this a Champions type victory where if you're going to win the title, you do have to come through on these ones?
I would say in the past, yes. But with the level of the teams involved in the title race, most specifically City, and Arsenal as of late, to be fair, but again, more specifically and historically City, it is domination that's being played. Liverpool remind me a bit of Arsenal. Actually, match week, 27 last year is when we got that late winner against Bournemouth from Reece Nelson in the 90th plus whatever minute, plus 5, plus 6. It felt similar today from Liverpool. I think they're going to fall off in this title race if I had to choose one of the three, and I have them finishing third right now. That's just I don't think they played that well. They had a lot of possession, but I think they had one shot on goal. Was that Núñez's goal? They might have had one more. I thought honestly, Nottingham created more danger. Elanga was dangerous the first half. Probably should have put one away past Kelleher early. Nottingham Forest might be my least fucking favorite team in the Premier League. I despise watching them play, and
what
they
they're doing
never.
for
At least
Theo.
I hate watching Man U play, but at least Man U eventually puts in some storylines. Nottingham Forest consistently and always just fucking loses. They're horrible to watch. You can't rely on them for shit. And I mean, Mike said it earlier. Man City felt like we were going to beat Man U the entire game. They were completely dominant. Liverpool had the ball a lot, but I really thought that this was the weekend where Arsenal gets some points on one of these two teams. And God damn it, I can't believe it. The only credit I'll give to Liverpool really is Alexis McAllister. I don't think we've talked enough about what a good signing he's been for them. Specifically with Trent Alexander-Arnold out, he's been kind of that calm person in the midfield who can still pick out a pass. And I mean, that final ball to get onto Núñez's head was absolutely perfect in a situation like that where you have seconds left in the game. I thought he was outstanding, and I think he's having a great year. So I still pick Liverpool to finish third right now, but as of right now, pressure's on Arsenal.
Yeah, Nick, I think you make some good points there with Liverpool in this title races. The injuries are stacking up, and these type of results certainly help keep their lead here. But it seems like they're holding on. These injuries are weighing them down. They're not showing the same type of form and performances that Arsenal and Manchester City are. Obviously, I think that the injuries are a huge factor of that. Maybe they would be
part of it, yeah,
dominating these games, and we would be speaking a different note about them. But those injuries are there, and that impacts Liverpool. And these other two teams, they are on fire. They are on fire. Phil Foden is clicking. Haaland is clicking. De Bruyne is clicking. Saka, Martinelli. I mean, these teams are just coming together, and Liverpool are kind of falling apart in terms of just the health reasons. So I think if they can hold it over until they get healthy, we'll see what happens. But I do think that Manchester City and Arsenal are feeling all right about where they stand.
Just a
But
point before we leave Liverpool, I want to say I'm actually pretty impressed with what they've done the last couple of weeks. This is not an impressive win by any means, but with the circumstances they're in, playing a Carabao Cup, playing an FA Cup match in the midweek, and then playing Premier League with a super limited squad, players that don't have first team experience, and then playing senior players out of position to compensate for missing guys and still getting results. It's a testament to Jurgen Klopp for sure, being able to get these kind of results. And the future of Liverpool, when he does leave, it seems to be in really good hands with the team that they have built up here.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think they're going to fall
I
apart
think
as soon as he
Klopp.
goes.
Yeah, I think
I think
Klopp
they're
is a
going to
huge
fall
part of
apart.
that.
These
I don't think so.
kids, Connor Bradley is the only one who was impressive. Kids are playing, but kids weren't playing well, in my opinion. I know their one forward got a goal in the FA Cup, but that's just about it. I didn't see anything. They're running on adrenaline right now, and that just is not sustainable with 11 games left in the season.
I think Klopp's a big part of it. If you look at the investment they've had, they do not have the depth that a City or an Arsenal have, and I think it's going to be hard to continue to compete when Arsenal and Man City are making those investments, and you don't have a Klopp and his system to kind of bank on. Obviously, we'll see who they end up getting. If they get a Xabi Alonso, you know, that will be something because he has not had investment at Leverkusen, and he's doing all right. He is doing all right. But speaking of maybe teams looking for managers this offseason, we have some mid-table madness here. We have Manchester United, we have Chelsea, Newcastle, Wolves, West Ham, all fighting for those spots, trying to make their way towards European football. And Mike, let's start with Manchester United. Plain simple, they looked outclassed. They had the lead for a good portion of this game. It took a Phil Foden absolute banger to get Man City back level. But there was not a doubt in my mind that City were going to have a breakthrough at a certain point. It would have been a huge upset if they not. I think if you scroll down there, Palmer, to look at the shot stats, it is not even close. Possession is 73-27. The subs for Manchester United today were Anthony Amrabat, Kambuala, and Forsen. Yeah, I know you guys are all thinking, wow, what a bench. What a firepower to bring off. I mean, against an amazing team, how did Man City handle that second line?
Depth wins championships.
Like, Erik ten Hag does not have them playing at all well, but is some of it due to they just don't have the players right now, and they don't have the players in form, certainly.
I mean, sure, some of that. You don't have anybody that's going to give you a spark off the bench. I think some of that's his own doing with the players he's decided to bring in. You have a 100 million player that you're bringing off the bench to go on the wing, but he just sucks. He doesn't have any output. So, yeah, the money's there, the investment's there, just the quality's not. So he's really only got himself to look at for that. Few injuries, but still, this team's not performing at a high level. The lineup they put out today was interesting. I think they tried to kind of copy what Aston Villa did earlier this season because they saw it was successful against City, packing the midfield, having a quad midfield, having McTominay transition a little higher up the field. But aside from breaking a few times where it looked a bit sketchy with Marcus Rashford, they didn't have anything that was overly convincing. Kyle Walker was able to track him down because he's not that confident right now, and they didn't have any supporting players giving him runs. The only other attack that was somewhat promising was Antony went flying down the right wing at one point, and then of course he cut back because he's got no confidence to go forward at the moment and produce an assist or a goal. So it's really, really poor. The center back pairing and Casemiro were the three standout players, along with Onana for me today. Onana made some great saves. Johnny Evans was a class performer. Casemiro, with his limited mobility, still had an impact, broke up some plays, made some last-ditch tackles that were impressive, but nothing to compliment the manager about. Nick, feel free to interject. What are you thinking? Is Ten Hag working with the best he's got, or is he just not up to par?
I mean, they're in sixth, Nick.
Shut up.
I don't see him moving. I don't see him moving.
They're in six. Oh my. did we not watch the same game? I understand it was Man City, but
This is a
the
Derby
stats
flex.
said 300 passes for them. There was no way that Man U had more than like 80 passes put together in that game. There is just zero fucking chance. At least not forward passes. Like that was horrendous to watch. They're the shittiest football I swear I've seen the entire season. And we've had to watch some stinkers, boys. Like we've had to watch some shit. A lot of them from Man U. I think the only guy who can hold his head up, fuck the center backs, fuck Casemiro. The only guy who can hold his head up, I thought Onana did himself well. If you're looking for any like bright spot, he had the worst start to a career at Man U that you could possibly have, and he seems to have turned a corner. But I mean, no outfield player should feel proud of what they did. Marcus Rashford is definitely happy with today's performance. He's ecstatic that he scored a peach. Congratulations on your 6th league goal. But
He got subbed
Man
because
U.
he disappeared afterwards.
Man, you're so
Oh my
bad.
God.
He headed the ball backwards, guys, on a breakaway. I'm gonna say it. He headed the ball backwards on a breakaway. How the fuck does that even happen? I get Kyle Walker is fast. I get you have the least confidence in the world, but for good God's sake, man, what are you doing? Ugh, I unfortunately found myself cheering for this Manchester United team today, and it led to me hating them more than ever because I'm truly, truly sorry for every Man U fan in the world. Nick Tracy, I apologize for everything I've criticized you for. I did not understand the anger that is inside your body every single week when you talk about football because Jesus Christ, it is atrocious to watch this team play. And Ten Hag deserves 90% of the blame because it's not like they don't have investment in that squad. He chose players. In fact, there were some players who were quality in certain points in their career. And right now, I mean, Bruno Fernandes looks horrible. Casemiro looks washed. Mainu, I guess, tries things, but even he is just not up to the level needed. I get your strikers missing, but that was atrocious.
Yeah, I think the fact that Erik ten Hag has chosen the investments, and now everybody's saying that there is nobody to choose from when they are his investments, is kind of that final nail in the coffin. If you're saying you don't have enough ammo, but you're the one that packed the ammo, that's not great. That's not great. So Manchester United here, not looking their finest. They had a little purple patch when Højlund was saving them, and Marcus Rashford certainly had his chance to be their purple patch savior today by finishing multiple chances, but instead just went for that one absurd banger that was probably the least likely of the chances he had to finish, and he went for that one. Good for him.
Yeah, yep.
The influence is crazy. Nick, there's another team that we like to talk about quite a bit. They're a bit further down the table, and they're a bit of a roller coaster team, I would say. It is Chelsea, Brentford. We've talked about how horrid their form has been, even with Tony back. And yet, for a portion of this game, I thought they were about to beat Chelsea. And that wasn't even going to surprise me. Chelsea just does not look clinical. They do not look like a team that is better than a Brentford. They don't look like they're a Big Six side. They're so hot and cold, Nick. What do you make of Chelsea right now?
Exactly what you just said. I mean, I actually thought the first half they looked good. I turned it off after the first half after they scored. I was like, all right, good Chelsea showed up this week. And then, I mean, even in the same game, they can't maintain 90 minutes of good football together. It's impossible for them to do so. And I mean, not even 45 minutes. Like Jesus Christ, this team is
Is
a
that
tough,
youth or
tough
coaching?
coaching.
Is that their
This
youth or
one's coaching
coaching?
for me. This one's coaching. I think there's real quality in this squad. I think when you look at the players, Nicholas Jackson, I think is a better winger than striker, and I think he looks solid there. I think Cole Palmer has proven a lot of people wrong this year. Say what you want about Conor Gallagher, but he's performed well all season for a struggling mid-table side. Malo Gusto's a good player. Disasi's proving himself to be good. I've always liked Levi Colwill. I think there's a lot of quality there. I really do. But Mauricio Pochettino, if you can't get your boys to be like playing well consistently, forget that. If you can't get them to concentrate on their game, because that's where the first goal and the second goal came from. Yes, Johan Visa scored a beautiful overhead kick. And by the way, it was like the third one he tried that game, but still, he scored it. So that's, I mean, tough to defend against that. But right out of the second half, Brentford were on Chelsea, and Chelsea had no response until way later in the game. I think they're fortunate. I think they're fortunate to get a draw, and I think this game really exemplifies. I know it's a draw away from home in a London derby, but I think this is the poster game for Pochettino needs to go. There's no reason for him to still be at this club. What he is doing is not working.
Yeah, I don't think there's been that progress that you'd want to see with Arteta, with all these other managers that you see. There is a progress. It's maybe a bit rocky at the start, but you see what they're cooking. You see what they're trying to get at, and they're getting closer and closer to it. This one feels like they've been going back and forth the entire season. It's not been a, hey, they're getting closer. We're really seeing it now. Oh, but they're just not there yet. It is, they've not been there, and they're just not consistent at all. But
To add on to that really quick,
consistency,
they also switched their formation. Like if you are a team that's trying to build something, like you try to build something, not just like throw darts and see what works. And guess what? Like it kind of worked for the first half. They were picking up a lot of second balls with only 3 at the back, but I mean, they completely fell apart defensively in the second half. I think again, like you just said, there's no vision, there's no progress. He's got to go.
coach out. Mike, there are some other teams, though, that are above Chelsea that have those aspirations that I'm sure Chelsea would wish they could really have. But I don't know if they're consistent enough for them. But we did have a clash between two of those teams, Newcastle and Wolves here. Newcastle picks up a big 3-0 win. There was a gulf in class there, Mike. You look around at that kind of spots that could take over a Manchester United. Newcastle, Wolves, both certainly in one of those. West Ham in another. We'll get to West Ham later, but Newcastle, did they just show they're a different class than Wolves here?
Yeah, this was domination. Saw a few things from Newcastle that's been missing the last couple of weeks. Defensively, they were structured. The midfield was wide open for Wolves. They were picking passes with their center backs, Newcastle, straight through the midfield directly to the attacking line on the ground, not in the air. I mean, just direct play with no sorts of pressure. And the game just got way too open for Wolves to compete. The forwards were on one. Isak played very well. Anthony Gordon, well. He took his goal nicely. And Wolves really didn't look like they were going to ever have a chance of winning this game. It was over very quickly. Last thing I'll say about it, Livermento's goal, fantastic. I think his first one for the club. Slice and dice. Very nice.
Slice and dice, very nice. Wolves take a shot here, but I think considering where they were starting the season, they're feeling still all right about where they might end up. But Nick, I want to get into this here. We brought up the discussion of Tottenham versus Aston Villa up towards the top of that table and who's going to get that Champions League spot. I mean, maybe both, but that fourth position is certainly up for grabs between the two. The two managers there, Unai Emery and Ange Postecoglou, get a lot of talk about them. Aston Villa sneaks out a win. Tottenham sneaks out a win. Neither of them have been necessarily wildly convincing in their performances this season that they are a consistent team that can absolutely dominate and get up to past a level that we're not doubting them every game. And how much of do the managers kind of factor into your hope there, if you're a fan here, of who you think will come out on top here? Does Tottenham have enough firepower? Does Ange have enough tactics other than just balls to the wall? Or is it Aston Villa that's going to be carrying this out to the end?
Honestly, both of these managers feel like they live and die by what they do. So can't blame them for that. I think it's a pretty even split. I like Ange's personality more, but I don't know if that really affects the team or this race at all. So
His
I mean,
vibes are
yeah,
much
just
better.
vibes are better probably,
Vibes are big.
but you know, Unai's record, obviously his history is definitely much better than Ange's. So I think it comes down to two things, because honestly, these teams are a little bit of mirror images of each other when it comes to their deficiencies. Aston Villa, in my opinion, is lacking deeply in that back line. I understand they have some players there that are pretty quality, but even most of their quality comes from like attacking. If you look at Lucas Digne, if you look at Matty Cash, they're attacking fullbacks. Defensively, I don't think either of them are incredibly that strong. You look at their forwards, they have Ollie Watkins, who's having an absolutely incredible year. They're having Leon Bailey, who's also been in incredible form. They have a Musa Diaby, who's shown his quality in this league. There is a lot of attacking talent on this Aston Villa team and a lot of different options for them to get goals. Your Tielemans got a goal or an assist today. He got a goal last week. Douglas Luiz has been getting some free kick goals. They have a lot of options going forward. When I look at Tottenham, I love their back line. I think Mickey Van de Ven is up there for the best center back in the league, not playing for Arsenal or Man City and Liverpool, I'd say, because he is pace, he is calm, he can pick out a pass, he's physical. I mean, he does all of this and more. He is a true center back. Like you can build a defense around that guy. In attack, they have Heung-min Son, and that's the guy that you can consistently rely on. I know James Madison is an extremely talented player, but look at his output. He has like 3 goals on the season. That's not enough for Son's kind of Robin to his Batman. And Kulusevski, hot and cold. Brennan Johnson gets the goal today. He doesn't even start for them. Timo Werner, we know all about him. Timo time is very sporadic. A broken clock is right twice a day, and so is Timo. But I don't know. To me, it comes down to, does Tottenham have enough in their attack? Does Aston Villa have enough in their defense? I think the answer is no to both of those questions. So I'm going with Aston Villa, who are currently 5 points clear.
Yeah, well, Tottenham does have a game in hand, so it could be down to 2, but this is honestly going to come down to 1 or 2 kicks of the ball here. It's going to be down to if Aston Villa can save a game like they did today against Luton Town to get a win. If Tottenham can save games, can not lose, can get just a point here or there that they wouldn't have had, because it's going to come down to fine margins between these two. They are very close in this race, just like the top 3 are in their race. It's going to come down to doing just a little bit more than what the other is doing, because I don't think either of them is going to run away with it by any means. But Mike, unfortunately, we get to another aspect of our mid-table and our bottom of the table talk here. It is losers lose. Like we already said,
Yeah.
Luton found their way to lose to Aston Villa, but unfortunately, Everton, after going up 1-0 and igniting some hope in my heart, took 6 minutes to take that away, and then absolutely demolish it past the 90th minute mark with 2 goals conceded. Beto gets his name on the score sheet, had a terribly missed penalty. That was like high school level, not enough power, not in the corner enough. Just not
No deception.
a good penalty taker at all. Ups and downs for Beto. Ups and downs for Everton, but is it time to kind of cut losses on Beto and maybe just not try and stoke him up with giving him penalties, giving him all his playing time?
Yeah, I didn't love that decision. I don't think we have someone who's an out-and-out penalty killer. So it was whoever's confident to take one. Beto happened to step up, and that was poorly taken.
So fucking embarrassing.
So bad. I think if
You
Dom was
can't
out
name
there,
one player.
yeah, it would be Dom, but he wasn't on the field at the time. So, like, I don't know. I don't know who else I would trust to take it. One of the midfielders, maybe, but that was poor. Anybody for him from now on. This weekend was summed up by false hope for the bottom half of the table sides, us included. Brentford looked like they were walking away with a win. Nope. Luton looked like a draw. No. Nottingham, we're going to get a draw. No. Crystal Palace looked like they could get a win. No. So just false hope for anybody below that 10 mark. And it was especially crushing for the Toffees because we did go up. We missed the pen and we responded. Beto got a little bit of luck. I think that header came off his shoulder. But if you're in the right position, a little bit of luck will do. And then we just did the old Everton thing. Concede one quick. Get into stoppage time. Okay, we'll see it out. We'll take the point. I'm fine with a point against a good West Ham side who are starting to score goals. And then Vladimir Kufal, out of all people, pulls one out of his ass and rips one into the roof. What an absolute finish. We get a chance. We get corners towards the end of the game. James Garner has a chance, plays it near post. It's cleared. We get a redo. And he does the same thing. Not a good service at all. Doesn't give us a chance to get a header on frame. And then they just trounce down the field for the third. Alvarez ripped our hearts out. This is a bad one. I thought we could get 3. Then I thought we could get 1. And then we walked away with none. So bad day. Bad day. But the silver lining is everyone else around us also got no results. So I guess it could be worse.
Yes, that is absolutely the silver linings there that I was looking at. Is if you look at the table, all the bottom 5 teams lost this week. So Everton did not make any progress where maybe we thought they could have, but they also didn't really fall behind anyone. And Nottingham Forest, I have zero faith in them. I have zero faith in Everton. So us a point above them and 5 points above Luton. One more week closer to the end of the season, and Everton still being above that line is a good sign. Just clean up the rest of the scores. We had Burnley losing their game. Shocker to Bournemouth there. They get a win 2-0. And then Fulham with a big 3-0 victory over Brighton. Brighton continue to be an enigma where they are just not consistent. A bit of a Chelsea-type vibe, but maybe at just a slightly higher level there. Fulham, good result for them. I think this is a big one. And they're able to score some goals, which has not necessarily been their strong suit this year.
Sneaky form.
But, yeah, streaky form. But
Sneaky.
Jedi Robinson over there, he's just the heart of that team. Love that guy. Speaking of Jedi Robinson, we get into the U.S. men's national team corner. And boys, this week in the U.S. men's national team, there wasn't as many goals or assists as like a week or two ago. But what Christian Pulisic did in Italy, he introduced them to what CONCACAF is really about. You can see there by the headlines, he's been sent a bunch of death threats by Lazio fans, and boy, did he make them upset. He, in their game, a player goes down, referee does not blow the whistle. Pellegrino on Lazio, he's trying to wait. He's trying to wait for the call. Pulisic runs straight around him, kicks the ball by him. He's already on a yellow, and he rips Pulisic down to the ground. Gets so upset at him. Gets his second yellow for an obvious foul like that. And then he's sent off. People are upset because they wanted the game to have stopped, and Pulisic played until the whistle. So he gets sent off. People are pissed off at Pulisic already. Lazio are down a man. They were looking pretty good in the game until that point. Milan then get a goal. It's 1-0. Another red card comes out for Lazio. So they're down to 9 players. And then a former Gooner, Guendouzi, chasing after the ball with Pulisic. Pulisic doing a tactical foul, grabbing the man's arm. Guendouzi decides to shrug him off and throw him to the ground with both hands. Yeah, can't do that. So he gets a red card in the 90th plus 6 minute. Lazio was playing with 8 men on the field. Pulisic had drawn 2 red cards. And they were going crazy at the end of this one. Once the final whistle was blown, there were like brawls on the field. People were swarming around, screaming. As Lazio, you would maybe expect, does not have the most composure and good tempers. But man, Pulisic, bringing the CONCACAF to Italy. This is what Italy needed, I think. You're not going to out-shithouse CONCACAF, right, Mike?
Yes, so, dude. Hopefully he's keeping Theo Hernandez nice and close to him, at least for the week before this cools off.
Yeah, it was a nice moment after he had drawn the red card. Giroud went over, pushed away people. Theo Hernandez came over, said he was his security. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he's a big man. You want him on your side if you're having people shoving around. But outside of shithousery, it was still a decent weekend for U.S. men's national team players. Josh Sargent, almost every single U.S. men's national team corner, I am bringing him up. That is because he has another goal this weekend. 11 in 15. 11 in 15 games. If he did not have that injury at the start of this season, holy shit, I don't even know how many goals he would be on.
40,
But
50. Yeah.
boys, he scores every weekend. I've brought up the topic before. When do we say that he should maybe be that starter? Balogun obviously has crazy talent levels. Ricardo Pepi as well, but they're not getting that much playing time and they're not getting that many goals. Josh Sargent is getting both in absolute handfuls. When is that time? When do we pull the trigger on that?
Nations League.
Bad news. This is bad news for Pepe, if I'm being honest. Because I think the time is now, first of all. I think he should be the starting 9 in the immediate future for the United States national team. But I still think Balogun can like come off the bench and run at tired defenders and make an impact. Pepe's game is more well-rounded, similar to how Sargent has a pretty well-rounded game. So I think this leaves Pepe in a really tough spot. Also, just really quick, based on what Palmer has pulled up, Josh Sargent to replace Ivan Toney, that would be so fun to watch. Sargent at Brentford, that'd be incredible.
Buzzing.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed. The bees would be buzzing.
He's no Neil Maupay, but he's pretty good.
I just him and Neil Mape would be quite a combo. Quite a combo there, but yeah, Josh Sargent as red hot as his hair would suggest. But he's not the only one that is riding some great form and making some questions for Greg Berhalter in the coming camps. Malik Tillman, Megzaman, dribbles it down, finishes off a chance versus Feyenoord, so it is the other huge team in Netherlands. Obviously, of recent memory, Ajax would be considered a larger one than them, but in terms of form in recent memory, Feyenoord are that other team in Netherlands right now, and he was dicing. He was dicing them up. Another goal for Malik Tillman, adding to his tally. Same question to you guys. Talent level of Gio Reyna is wild. He is insanely good, but he did not even make the squad for Nottingham Forest. It has been a nightmare move to Nottingham Forest, and Malik Tillman is killing it. How hard is it for Greg Berhalter to say, hey, Malik Tillman, you have been absolutely killing it. You are in red hot form and doing it at every level, Champions League and Eredivisie, but you're not starting because we're going with Gio Reyna, who has not played a minute of really meaningful football in quite some time here.
I don't think it's hard at all. Unless he's being manipulated by the U.S. soccer politics, which are sure to play something into this. It should be a pretty easy decision. Malik Tillman's the guy right now on form, on what he's showing, on his goal output, his contribution. You got to give him a chance, and a real chance at that. So it seems like a pretty easy decision to me.
Nick, arguing the other way, Gio Reyna has been injured and not played a lot before and came into U.S. men's national team camps, absolutely killed it. Same it can be said about Sergiño Dest. Same can be said about Christian Pulisic. Do you not just look at the talent level of Gio Reyna and what he's done with the U.S. and say, man, maybe I still got to give him the edge?
Yes, but can we look at the talent level of Malik Tillman for a second? Like, everyone's talking about how Gio Reyna is just miles clear as a talent. It is much closer, I think, than people think. Malik Tillman is a production machine. Gio's a much more aesthetically pleasing attacking mid, I would say. He plays more of like that traditional 10. Malik, I think, plays that role as well, but also with shades of a second forward almost. So I think he offers more in the air as well when we're talking about set pieces, which against bigger teams is going to be something that's needed. I'm kind of on the camp of I don't even care if Gio has a good little run right now. If Malik Tillman keeps his form until the Gold Cup, till the Copa America, I want Malik Tillman starting. I think that he is the guy.
He is certainly him in these games that he is playing in.
So much
He
for your
is
Gio argument,
not
Flags. You got to
moment.
make that one yourself, dude.
I still think Gio Reyna is. I think you have to find a way with Gio Reyna's talent level to get him on the field, whether that be putting him at a winger and Malik Tillman at that 10 and
Yes.
then switching back
Super
and
sub.
forth. I think they can both switch in between and outside. Even with Pulisic running inside, I think it allows a lot of fluidity that could potentially be a good
That's
thing to do with
if you do
Tim
that,
Weah
then you
not
can't
being-
start McKennie. If you do that, you can't start McKennie. If you do that, you have to have Adams and Cordoso out there because there is
I don't
no
know.
defensive cover from those wings.
I mean,
Tim Weah would,
yeah,
but
but
he wouldn't be playing.
I think it's situational by team. You have to do it in a game that you're Panama, maybe that you're going to have the ball and you're really just trying to break down a low block. I think that's maybe the situation. But speaking of people breaking down low blocks, we have a nice intro to U.S. Men's National Team corner for Diego Luna, who got an assist. And really the reason I want to shout this out is, Palmer, can you search Real Salt Lake versus LAFC? Because the conditions they played in, Hugo Lloris certainly would not have thought that he was going to be playing in this. It was an absolute blizzard. And it ends up, shockingly, in Real Salt Lake's favor. You can see right there in that picture, or if you're listening on audio, get fucked. It was snowy. I don't know. You can see right there, orange ball is out. That's when you know it's really snowy. It was coming down like crazy. The entire pitch was just a inch or two of snow. Dude, Luna takes advantage of that, but what a game this was to watch. Just absolute chaos. Ball was skipping across. People were like running around like it was a recess game. It was not normal soccer. 3-0 in this one. Makes sense that the home team wins there. Mike, you look like someone's
How do they
about to
allow this? Like, how is this not canceled? That is crazy. I
They have
watched
the
some
orange
highlights
ball
of
for a
this
reason,
game.
man.
That doesn't stop the ball from not moving because there's snow on the field. Like, does it have extra traction on it? Put some palm oil on it? I don't know. That was wild. I've seen American football matches, be canceled for less. So that's crazy.
I'm glad they didn't. We need moments like this. The U.S. versus Costa Rica, this game here, especially with LAFC and Hugo Lloris, we needed the moments of seeing Hugo Lloris getting absolutely just blown away by balls skipping across the snow in front of him. There's
Flags.
nothing better.
Bro, they would
Flags,
cancel. You go.
is this game being allowed to be played? Is that better or worse for the MLS, like as a league?
PR-wise, terrible. People are going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
But also you get eyeballs, PR wise.
Yeah, nope. Yeah,
Any
no
press is
bad
good
PR.
press.
But
Is a snowy
So
day in
entertaining.
Salt Lake City the new rainy day in Stoke? Can we mark this?
hey, let's see if Messi
It's the
can
new
do it
litmus
there.
test for hard conditions of play.
Dude, if you think Messi would have played in this game if this was in Miami, you're out of your mind.
Dude, I
Even
They
would
in
would
a
have
need to see
scheduled
that.
it as a home game for Miami. They 100% would.
I don't know. Messi in the snow, he's just taking pot shots from 40 yards out, bouncing off the snow past the keepers. That would be lethal,
not
man. I'm
They would
telling you.
cancel
There's
like
no way he would
Michigan winter ASO games, and they never fucking cancel those if it looked like this.
Yeah, this was a game. It was interrupted or delayed due to lightning. So it was a blizzard with lightning. So there was some weather
Thundersnow.
going on. There's some weather going on. But boys, I want to close out with this because it brings up a question. Johnny got another assist this weekend for Real Betis. Continues to go absolutely fucking crazy. Tyler Adams is now training. He looks like he's getting pretty close to coming back. I think it's Johnny's spot to lose at this point. Tyler Adams is our captain when healthy, but what does Tyler Adams have to do to get that spot? Because Johnny is holding that shit like that meme of the guy holding on to his fucking chicken sandwich with his thumb halfway through it. Like he is grasping that CDM job, and he doesn't look like he's trying to give it up to Tyler Adams here. What do you need to see from Tyler Adams to have him jump Johnny Football here, Mike?
If he's back to his best, it's going to be apparent what he offers, like right away, because he's just an absolute bruiser in the midfield. The amount he runs, the attacks he breaks up, the tackles he makes, the leadership he shows, I mean, Johnny is phenomenal. I'm not going to knock him. Tyler is a dog, and he's exactly who I want as a captain in the center of the park. So he'll show it as soon as he's healthy and ready to go. I didn't hate Nick's little mention of a double pivot there with Tyler and Johnny deep. I think that could work against some better opposition, some sides that have talent at that 10 spot. I would like to see that at some point.
Nick, what do you need to see from Adams? Is it us just recency bias? We don't remember what Adams is, and if he's healthy, that's just him. That's his spot, or is it no? Johnny has that argument to make when they're both at their prime.
I think Porcano Los Dos. I think I'm good with both of them, bro. I think if Tyler Adams is back to his best, Mike's right. His work rate is up there with absolutely anybody in world football. I mean, anybody in world football. His running, his ability to sniff out danger and track back. Like, I think that Johnny's game is more. Johnny's quickly becoming one of my favorite Americans, by the way, because not only is he a good shield, he's not necessarily the runner that Tyler is. Obviously, a few people are, but he's also a bit of a controller there, which Tyler Adams never really has been on the ball. So, in my opinion, I think this is where you see some tactical switches from Greg Berhalter if he's the right guy for the job, because I think this is completely an opposition-based game. I could see a Johnny and Weston midfield work, not as a double pivot, but then pick whatever 10 you want in there as the other, like, more attacking 8. Probably Malik at this point, like we said. But I honestly think Johnny could play the 8 role, like subbed on for Weston when you're trying to, like, lock down a game. I think versus a team that you're trying to break down, I think you could start Johnny as the 6, and he's more of like the pass finder. And I think in a game where you're expecting a lot of transition, you start Tyler Adams. And like Mike said, if you're playing a team where you know you're probably going to be outclassed, I think you need both. So I think this is my favorite problem that the United States men's national team has ever had, because I love both these players.
Boys, nothing makes me happier that we can have such heated debates, not about just Adams, McKennie, Musa, and Reyna. Who's going to fit 4 out of 3? This discussion is now getting to just about every position. You could make an argument for Luca Della Torre. He almost got another assist. He got called back.
No, you can't.
VAR.
El Pupu?
You could make an argument that he should be getting some minutes. But Johnny, Adams, Musa, McKennie, Malik Tillman, Gio Reyna, there are solid arguments for all those players. That was not a thing that we had before. It was, hey, these 3 are the wildly more talented players. We just have to play them no matter what. And we wouldn't. We would get Jackson Ewell with 2 of them. This time, it seems like it is almost unfuck-upable, because there's going to be an argument to be made for just about anyone. Greg Berhalter, if you are listening to this, please don't prove me wrong. Please. This is unfuck-upable. You can put out so many lineups, and I will be okay with just about any of them. I think March camp, though, is when we're going to see Malik Tillman, is when we're going to see Johnny, because I don't know if Gio Reyna is going to get really that many minutes in that, due to him not playing really at all, not in Forest, and I don't see if Adams is even going to be back to a level that he can play in those games. We're gonna be able to see them before Copa America.
Dude, yeah. Gone are the days of Kyle Beckerman and Michael Bradley. Love you, Kyle. But this is the golden age of
the legends.
Not hating, but this is the golden age of the USA midfielder. I haven't seen the depth or the skill level like this ever. This is some true talent. Good problem to have. I don't quite believe it's unfuck-upable, as your new lingo might say. I think Greg could find a way to do that.
Now
So
say it
let's
5
not sell
times
him short.
fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack on that. It is Greg Berhalter, so he could certainly find a way to prove me wrong. But it seems for a sound mind, if it were me, you, or Nick that were choosing these, I don't find a way that we could come up with something that would make me think, no, absolutely not.
Kellen
Greg
Acosta.
Berhalter, Kellen Acosta, Jackson Ewell, and Georgi Mihalovic at the 10.
Christian
This fucking
Roldan.
run Copa America. Christian
Jordan
Roldan.
Morris up
His
top.
vibes are immaculate. Yeah,
Really quick.
Jordan Morris he's in a camp again, we're done.
We're done for. Go ahead, Nick.
Is Yunus Musa the man left out of this midfield right now? Like, I think he is. There is the only profile. Yunus is the only profile of midfield that we have. Like, I could see Johnny play the Weston role. I could see Johnny play the Tyler Adams role. I could see McKennie move around a little bit. He could work in a deeper pivot. I think he could work as a 10 even. Gio can be on the wings. Malik can be as a false 9 kind of. There's a lot of positional like mobility. Yunus is very much just like a ball carrier penetrator with the ball. So is he the one who's going to be kind of left sore with few minutes coming up?
Go ahead, Flex.
I think with the 4 McKennie's in, he's a lock. Johnny and Adams. Johnny right now, his form is making that CDM role somewhat of a lock. And then you don't want to leave out Gio and Malik. That seems crazy. So fortunately, I do think Musa ends up kind of that odd man looking out. But once again, you have this much talent. He just finds some form with AC Milan, and all of a sudden this conversation has switched to you cannot leave out Yunus Musa the way he's playing right now. I think it comes to him finding that next level where he's not just transitioning from defense to offense as beautifully as he does that. Maybe he finds that final touch in the final third, and I think that's what can set him into that he's a lock, we need to have him category. Mike, you seeing it kind of the same way, or?
Yeah. Currently, he's left out just because he's not a starter. He's not playing a huge impact role at Milan at the moment. He started off playing a lot of games and starting a few games even, but he seems to be more of a second option currently. So that just hurts with how many other people are in form. But I love Yunus Musa, and less than a year ago even, I would say he's a lock for the starting 3. He is another sort of workhorse like Adams. I like having him, McKennie, and Adams together. That is an insane triangle. So he could easily get back in there because he offers something that no one else does. I think he's the most complete midfielder, but it's just going to be a form game.
Yeah. Oh, the conversations around the U.S. men's national team are rather positive. Hopefully Greg Berhalter can keep that going. Off-season talk tends to be positive and thinking of all the possibilities. But that is it for us today. We will get back to you with previews of the next week in this crazy Premier League season. Who is going to come out on top of the title race? Who's going to get a spot in Europe? Who knows? But we will see you next time. Mike, close us out with a beautiful quote, as you always do.
The United States women's national team are currently up 3-0 on Colombia. Suck it, Nick. Haters mad. We're doing well. Hopefully they continue this into the semifinals, and we get a little hardware for the women. Up the Toffs, and check us out on all socials. Take us away, Nick.
Gunners versus Blades tomorrow. Let's keep the title race close. Up the Gunners.
Up 'em.
Like that one is going to be that close. All right. We'll close out. I just jinxed Arsenal, so that is a good ending. Till next time.
Motherfucker.
Peace.